why they flagged it. That was YouTube that flagged it.
Hey, Greg, I can give, he might be able to help you.
Here, I got it.
This one's coming through now, Greg.
I got it. Thank you.
I think Debbie's complaining that she can't hear people. She just sent me a text.
Is it?
You gotta push that button.
No, you're good now.
Testing. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Leslie.
Hi, whoever said that.
Hey, Zach, text me Emmanuel Paris's phone number because I got somebody trying to get in again.
What's the last 4 digits?
6446.
No. It's not it.
Can you text that number, see who it is?
They're in here now.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. We're gonna go ahead and start the meeting. Debbie, can I have roll call, please?
Leslie Cunningham,
Here.
Jeff Deviney,
Here, cold.
Melissa Dreyer. Here. James Gagish. Sharon Hicksonbaugh. Corey McCon,
Here.
Summer Miller. Here. Emmanuel Paris,
Here.
Leslie Thames.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Presentations and recognitions, we don't have any. Request to speak at the board meeting, we don't have any. Do we have any visitors request to speak on an agenda item? Okay, on to general procedures. Do I have an approval of the minutes?
Corey, so moved.
We have no sound, Cheryl.
Leslie Thames, second.
I think Debbie's having sound issues.
Leslie Thames seconded it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion for the approval of accounts payable?
So moved, Corey. Yes, it was Corey.
Second, Emmanuel.
We can't hear in Debbie's off. Oh, they probably can't hear me. I don't hear you coming back.
I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Zoom because Brian's telling me we're pulling only 11 megs of internet.
Sorry, we had trouble hearing. Who seconded that last motion?
Emmanuel.
That's Emmanuel.
Was that Emmanuel that made the second?
Correct.
Yes, Cyril.
Thank you.
Financial and budget reports, Laura?
This Friday, I should find out more about next year's budget as far as what the state has information-wise for us. So early next week, I can send out a draft to the Finance Committee.
Then do we want to have, I mean, usually the process is painless, but do we want to have a Zoom meeting? I guess, Barb, do we have to have public meetings for the Finance Committee as well? Like, how do we treat committee meetings in this time?
The same as before, they have to be public. You can do them virtually, but they still have to be open to the public.
I assumed as much. I just want to make sure.
No problem.
No, for virtual meetings, how does publication come into play? I mean, can we just put it on our website?
I'm telling people to do that. Technically, they haven't changed the Sunshine Act yet, so technically you're supposed to be advertising. But,
I'll let
you know,
Louise and tell her, hey, pick up where we left off because we're having difficulties. Or do you
Okay.
think we should just not clear this? I mean, I can't tell when they're done and we look stupid.
I can't see you, so you don't look stupid.
Yeah, what if we put our cell phones down, one person each on speaker phones? Do you think that could work? I don't know what the hell to do.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they must be having some issues.
I think we can hear everyone else via your,
Phone.
yeah.
Yeah, something's.
I think one good practice for this is if you're not addressing a group, it might be a good idea to mute your microphone just so you don't address an issue without maybe addressing the issue.
And I keep mine muted in case JT runs through.
I keep mine unmuted because I like to talk.
Yeah.
And your picture is so fitting, Corey.
I figured as much. I had to make sure I included a nice photo of my donkey. Is Cyril helping them? Is that what's going on?
From what I gather, I believe the issue is the feedback to his computer and everyone in central office. I know we all can hear each other, but I think
Okay.
there might be an issue with central office.
Ah. Are we live streaming this on YouTube?
It's on there right now.
It is?
Yes, I just was on it.
Oh, wow.
That's all right. We'll muddle through. Has there been any feedback from VOTech on what they're doing? Cheryl, I didn't know.
Yeah, I talked to Mary today, and she said that they're having a meeting, supposedly having a meeting this week to discuss what avenue they're going to take for graduation. I'm assuming, I mean, in most of my principal meetings, there's a good many schools that are going to put on a virtual graduation. Some have other dates for in-house graduations that they're considering, but no one has really made any definite plans. Maybe a couple schools have made definite plans, prior to Thursday. But now that Thursday's happening, I'm assuming that most of the schools, my next meeting will be talking about more definite plans. I mean, I'm looking into virtual graduation myself, at least for the June 3rd one right now.
Yeah.
But she said that once she knows what Western Area is going to do, she'll let me know.
Okay. I'm sure we'll talk about that once they join. I just building the static.
I don't understand what virtual graduation means exactly.
It's like graduation, but virtual.
Haha.
Yeah, I will tell you, I'm in the learning process right now. There are a couple where we get our gowns, our cap and gowns. They're like Jostens and Herb Jones. They are offering a platform for that. So I have some emails into them to find out what they're, how they're going to present that. If there's, a platform that's, easier for us to use to do something like that. But, I have to wait. I have to hear back from them first.
Did we give any thought to possibly having something in like June, July or something? Like a real one on the football field?
Yeah, so what my plan was is the students are going to graduate in June. So we wanted to have at least a virtual graduation, and then was going to pick a date in June and a date in July for something that would be more in-house if the regulations are lifted and we can have large gatherings. The only reason that I didn't want to do it just then is because, we may have graduates seniors that don't show up or wouldn't come to those dates. So I just wanted to have something where it was on the original date, the original graduation date, and, set up 2 alternative dates to do something in-house, like we would normally do.
Okay.
Cheryl, would it be possible to use the money that the seniors would normally use for prom and other things to go elsewhere instead of in-house at the school, like that Heavenly Scent Farms, and have almost like a senior banquet and a graduation together?
Honestly, I mean, I've never thought about that. I guess my concern is, is the unknown. I don't even know, when that could happen. I'm even having a hard time, with prom itself, what dates would actually be available. I don't even know when we would, when things are going to open up. And if we do, if businesses do start to open up, are they going to put other events ahead of us because we're a small school?
Well, I'm not even saying so much about prom, just doing graduation and, like a dinner or something for the kids beforehand, just to give them something a little bit memorable for a graduation type of thing, since they're not having a prom or anything else.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
It's something we can look into. Honestly, I didn't think anything about it. I guess my concern is that, by the time, if we say we can't have it till July, is everybody going to be available to do it on that day? And usually the money is used for the entire class. It really depends on the amount of money. I mean, it depends on the amount of money that the class actually has. I don't know that figure off the top of my head, how much something like that would cost. I know we've looked into the Heavenly Scent Farm for, previously to or prior to Thursday, about doing the prom there as another venue. And it was going to cost us, I believe the number that I received was around $4,000 just for the place. And that was a discount. And then that's no food, you know, I mean, that's tables and chairs and stuff of that nature, but that's no food, no DJ, none of any of that stuff. So, you know, that cost comes into play. If we don't, you know, we can't, you know, depending on what, because usually the meals cost between, I would say about $10 to $12 a plate from there. So, I mean, it's definitely something I can look into. We have looked into, I had Mr. Deutsch look into the Heavily Sent Farms just earlier because, you know, we didn't know if we were going to be able to have prom where we currently have it or, you know, currently have it scheduled. So those are, you know, those are some of the numbers that were provided to me.
The way I'm understanding it is you've not canceled prom at this point, and you're looking at possibly having graduation on the football field or something if all the regulations are lifted.
Right. I mean, I will tell you it. I've talked to Cyril and Zach about this. I think prom is the least. If we were to open up, we probably could have it in June if there was a venue to have it. I don't think we can go much further after that. So I don't want to, you know, it's still kind of up in the air, you know, if we were going to have it.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of saying, you know, not so much prom, you know, like kind of at this point eliminating prom, because I don't think you're going to get too many kids that are going to be able to do that.
Right, right.
But using that money that you would normally use for prom and combine it all into graduation ceremony.
Yeah, and that all that money that I'm talking about, that is what I'm, you know, I understand what you're saying. So that we would just have to see how much money would be available. But as I said, the venue, I'd have to look at my exact numbers. I think the venue was around when the numbers came back for Heaven Sent Farms. I think that was around 7,000 or between 6,000 and 7,000. And I believe that the number that Mr. Deutsch gave me was around 4,000 that they would give it, you know, let us use it for. So it would depend on what money is available in that account to do something along those lines. And as I said before, that doesn't include food or, you know, a DJ or anything of that nature.
They want you to try it.
But it's something, Leslie, you know, we can discuss.
Okay. Yeah, it was just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, my only other concern is because everything's been so fluid. I really don't know. I mean, I'm going to set some dates, but I don't know if we're going to, you know, be able to meet those dates.
And I'm wondering too, if we put it out there to the community, if they wouldn't help us with catering or a DJ or things like that.
Yeah.
Just so that these kids could have something.
Yes. We can definitely look into it.
Okay.
Hey, you guys, we're back. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Are you guys done with talking about that, or were there any other questions?
You can move forward.
Okay. Solicitor's report.
You have our written report, thankfully. You'll see I've been talking to the administration a bit about the changes in the law because of COVID-19, and with Act 13, a lot of those issues have been addressed. I know the superintendent already addressed with you the transportation contract, and there's a motion on the agenda to allow the administration to proceed with that tonight. I really don't have anything else to add. We've been dealing with some employment issues resulting from the closures, but I think those have been pretty much resolved. So.
Okay, thanks. Under new business, athletic committee and extracurricular activities, we don't have anything. Does anyone have anything that they need to talk about? Buildings and grounds committee, that, someone saying something?
Well, I think, well, the buildings and grounds, Brian was going to put together a list of projects, summer projects. And then I think we never had our buildings and grounds meeting just on that as well. But I think what he'll provide is probably all we really need to look at.
Okay.
Yeah, and as soon as I have that, I will share that out in an email with everyone.
Okay.
Okay, under curriculum committee, Western Area Technology Center update, we really didn't have anything this last month. Did you have anything?
No, they're continuing education for our students there. They're working with the state to reduce the number of required hours for the different shops so that our students can still graduate and graduate with certificates on time.
Okay. 2019-2020 school calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the following revisions?
I will make a motion for Corey. I will make a motion for items A, B, or for B, C, and D.
C seconds.
Okay, and Sherry second. Does anybody have any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, that's how they go with the agenda. Corey, did you mean to
I
include?
did. I said for B, C, and D, and then I was going to make a motion for E because I did not notice it.
Okay.
So I make a motion for E, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Do we have a second?
Second, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Comprehensive Planning Committee update.
So because of the COVID-19, the state has pushed out the date to, it's currently June 30th. And they're talking that they may even push that further out because right now we can't have our required meetings and public review of that plan.
How many meetings do we have to have?
The Comprehensive Planning Committee needs one meeting, and then it needs to hang for 30 days before it's submitted to the state.
So as it is right now, we'd have to meet by the end of May.
That's correct, Corey, yes.
Well, we might be allowed to.
Are we allowed to do a Zoom meeting for that?
I would think that we could, yes.
Well, if we wanted to do something, I'm game for that if it works for everyone else.
And I don't think there's any sense in putting it off if we're able to coordinate
If we can do it. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'll see what we can do. We'll probably need to do some screen sharings and things of that nature because there's some templates from the state that the committee members will need to look at and review as we work through that plan.
And that could be just PDFs that you send us ahead of time as well.
Yeah.
I'd have to do screenshots from the state site.
That's easy. Print screen.
I'll work on that, yes.
You got Greg there. The heck.
Okay, Greg's your right-hand man.
Okay, does anybody else have anything else about the comprehensive planning committee? The school play is canceled and we have a do we have a COVID-19 update?
Yeah, so there's just several things that have coming up that are coming up, or we would like to have changed or make you aware of. One of those deals with, and I don't know if we were having issues here, so I don't know if Mrs. Ray Brown addressed the graduation projects or not. But if she is, okay, we would like to eliminate the graduation project requirement for our students for this year, because they're simply just not able to complete them. They're not able to go on college visits and do those types of things they needed to do to fulfill those requirements.
I'm fine with that.
Would
What
this
are the-
be, would
what
this
are the
be for everybody? All students or just seniors?
All students.
Yeah, we're looking at all students with that, Jeff.
We're looking at requirements like college visits, job shadows, those types of things.
Job
Yeah, 'cause I
shadows
know-
are very
I know
difficult.
Noah had 2 of them scheduled, one was last week, so we can't make any of it.
Right. I mean, some of the schools were planning on doing virtual tours. We haven't heard anything about that, up to this point, or any more information about that. It's just going to be difficult to get, all that information. Or first of all, the students are going to be able to get out there and do those types of things, and from the seniors get the remaining information. So we just feel it'd be better to eliminate it for this year, give them a pass.
I agree.
I can speak on the college visits, that virtual visits are certainly available. I mean, those should be able to be done if it was something that you wanted the students to do. But everything else, 9th through 12th, there's a lot more involved, correct?
I'm sorry, Missy, I couldn't hear you.
Couldn't hear me?
No, I can.
The virtual college visits are certainly available if you want the students to accomplish
Yes.
that. But 9th through 12th grade, there's a lot more to their.
Yeah, there's other, and it's multiple, there's multiple requirements depending on grade. And although that there are some available, we still have kids with internet issues that would not be able to complete that. So you would have partial class completions of some of those requirements. So we just thought it would be better that, I would rather them be focusing on their academic work. And then, hopefully next year we could, we have a lot of college visits and things of that nature that happen during the school year that sometimes the kids do not take advantage of. But, we could have, hopefully we maybe get more kids involved in those or take advantage of those to make up. But, it wouldn't, just to fulfill the credit next year, but for this year it would just be forgiven and they would just move on.
And I'm in agreement with that. I just wanted to say the college visit portion of it would be the least of the concerns. The job shadows and the other things I think that have to be done in person are more difficult to accomplish right now.
Great.
Okay,
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Corey, I just had a question for yes, I did. Like grading for the last 9 weeks, is that just going to be pass fail? I had a parent ask me that.
No, Corey, we've had some districts that have went to a pass fail. Our intent is to not do that for a number of reasons. One of those being that if we would change that to a pass fail for the last 9 weeks, that would screw up any student that wanted to potentially go play sports in college. How the NCAA looks at a pass fail is they'll take the lowest passing grade, and that's what goes on that child's transcript. So, even if they received, would have received an 85%, and we put it in as a pass, the NCAA is going to put it in as a 60%.
So that would be something more for like the elementary then. If we were going to do it, I'm not saying we should. I'm just so that's where it'd be more useful.
I think just looking at pass fail overall, you know, we started to discuss certain things like planned instruction versus enrichment and review, and some of those two focusing areas that the state has really pushed to the school districts. I think one of the mindsets that elementary schools I've talked to a lot during our elementary Zoom meetings has been to have those planned instruction in the core classes, which is the math, the reading, the science and social studies, and then have the enrichment and review almost on the special classes. That those questions that you had almost asked earlier of us this week, Corey.
Okay. I'm not advocating it. I was just bringing it up for discussion.
Some of the colleges are actually going to credit or no credit for their classes for this last semester as well. So I'm not sure. I mean, it's very fluid. Obviously, everything's changing daily. I'm just going to be completely blunt. I don't know how in the world you're going to grade on percentage on the elementary level, let alone the high school level, with the work that's being done from as a parent standpoint.
This is Zach here. Just I think a lot of it comes down to the accommodations and differentiation that the teachers have been working to accomplish. I know from just being involved with all of their Google Classrooms, I think the majority of teachers, most I would say in 3 through 6 and 2 through 6, not necessarily K1 and 2, but the majority of them have some way of distinguishing between learning comprehension or reading comprehension, or if a student was able to complete a task, not necessarily something that is completely student-led, but if a teacher was giving verbal instruction, there's different ways, I think, to grade expectations and grade objectives versus just, you know, read a story, learn about the idea, and then you answer the questions. I think it's a more of a change in the way we grade, not necessarily what we grade.
And we've had those conversations with our teachers in regard to our students in the home environment are going to be different than what we see in the school environment. There's going to be a lot more distractions for the child, probably in the home environment than what they would have in the school environment, and to, you know, take that into consideration when you're creating lessons and looking at work that's been turned in. Along those same lines, another item that we had discussed would be to eliminate our finals for this school year. We typically do a midterm, and then we do a final for all of our classes. We've conducted the midterm, but I think it's going to be unfair for students to have them try to complete a final in this environment.
I'm okay with that.
I am too.
I'm fine with that.
Does it have any major impact on their overall GPA or anything of that nature? I mean, it works to their benefit in that aspect.
Yeah, I received an email from, or we received an email from the person that is our liaison with ProSoft, and she ran the system with that grade eliminated or just excused, and there was no impact. You know, it didn't hurt, help, it just, you know, was remain the same. So there wasn't anything that was going to hurt any of our students to do that. And we did used to do that years ago when we exempted students from finals.
Based on attendance.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything?
I had just a couple other things, Leslie. One, just for the board, so that you're aware, progress reports will go out May 1st. When we got back in with audio, I know you were having a discussion about graduation. Not sure everything that was discussed there, but we are planning to graduate students on time virtually on June 3rd. That is the guidance from the state, and that's our intent. And then hoping to pick a couple dates, one in June and one in July, to have hopefully an on-campus graduation if if we lift the current social distancing guidelines here. And then the last thing, just to bring to your attention, is typically we would have completed kindergarten registration at this point for next year. We do have a list of students that are looking to enroll next year in the kindergarten. Our intent right now is to do an online registration for those families. Typically in March, we would bring the students in and do some testing. We're not able to do that. We're hoping to do that in August, right prior to when the school year starts.
So we don't have like a rough number of what to expect kindergarten next year?
We do have a
Yeah,
rough number.
yes.
What is that number, Zach?
40.
Is that rough high or rough low?
No, that's rough. That's rough for the number of families that called in to register. That's rough, right, as everybody who called us, that's what we wrote down.
Okay. Well, that's
so compared to the last 2 years, Corey, that's up a couple from where we would typically be at this time in the school year.
More than we have graduating.
Yeah, and hopefully that number grows by the time we hit August.
now, I guess, do we have to worry about, I mean, daycares and that are all pretty much the kids are staying home too. We're gonna have to worry about, I guess it's probably good to do the testing to know if there's gonna be extra needs in the kindergarten area, but we just won't know that fact until summer.
Correct. How many early intervention students did you have enroll, Zach?
Right now we had 3, but that was give or take because there may have been one student who was not enrolling. They were unsure, but they did register, and they were an early intervention student.
Okay, thank you. And then the last thing that I have is there was a continuity of education grant. I sent an email out to you about that. That grant has been submitted. We're supposed to hear on the 17th whether we received that grant or not. We wrote for iPads, some Chromebooks, and some internet hotspots for student use. And
How
that's
many,
all I have.
like how
Go ahead,
many,
Corey.
how many like iPads and that were you thinking?
With the amount, so they had a formula for this grant. So it was, it's a competitive grant, but they said that to take a base of $10,000, and they had a formula for how many students each district had on that did not have internet access, or we were making packets for, or unreliable internet, and to add additional money for each children above a base number of 20 students. So we wrote for, I believe it was 16 iPads. Our intent with those iPads is we have some parents that are letting us know that their special education child is having a difficult time manipulating the Chromebook. So the iPad would be an easier use for those students. And then the Chromebooks for our upper elementary. to be able to send home. We have students that maybe have internet at home, but don't have a device other than maybe their cell phone. And that's very difficult for them to utilize for school.
Do we have any iPads in-house that are like used in classrooms?
We do have some at the elementary, yes.
I mean, we're not using those right now. Is it something that those could be passed along to the special ed kids before, instead of waiting for the grant?
Those are in your building, Zach, correct?
Yeah, they're in our building. We have about in regular ed, not Title I funds, we have about 25 iPads. Of those 25 iPads, about 15 of those are 6 or 7 years old. They're the really old iPad minis. And they really don't have a lot of capabilities in today's day and age. I have been writing incremental grants to receive more and more and more on a very small number basis. And we've been trying to replace those. So we have about 25 total. And I think we have right around 9 or 10 new ones that are the bigger iPads. They're the latest edition. But I do believe the one issue that we have with those is that they're not programmed right now to work outside of our network, which I'm sure with a little bit of time that could be altered, but that would be something that we would need to do as well.
I think if it's not too cumbersome, it might be a good avenue to go down. If it can help some kids out, for the last, month and a half, so be it.
Yeah, the final straw that honestly, Corey, is the connectivity at home with the families. We reached out to Dr. Erickson and myself reached out to, and our elementary secretary reached out to 6 families at the elementary school that receive certain services and that use certain devices. And of those 6 families, only 2 of them were requesting a device from the school. Everybody else either had it or already had the means at home.
Okay.
I'd like to add one thing with all of this stuff going on. First, just thanks the administration, teachers, cafeteria, all staff. This has honestly been seamless compared to, I won't mention another school district. This has been the kids have gotten their education. We're still fighting at Washington about a schedule to teach, and we're 5 weeks into this. We hit the ground running, and it's the administration and faculty and everything's responsibility. And I just want to thank them for doing all of that.
I agree.
Yep, good job.
Yep, good job.
Well, we thank you all for your support as well. It really has been seamless. The teachers, actually all our faculty, teachers, secretaries, our aides, everyone has stepped up anytime that Zach Sherrill or myself has called. And we needed them to come in. They've come in, or we've done Zoom sessions with them. They really want to do the best job we can for our students. So I thank you all for your support as well.
Okay, under Finance Committee, and the public is asking not to make a motion until I read the whole motion because they don't have anything to look at. So do I have a motion to approve the COAST proposal with Alma Incorporated and to authorize the administration to proceed going forward with signing a contract per attachment Finance A to the revised agenda? Carry motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Jeff.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Negotiations Committee, we don't have anything at this time. Under Personnel Committee, Do I have a motion to approve the independent contractor agreement between the Avella Area School District and Trudy Roney Photography LLC effective July 1st, 2020 to June 30th, 2023? Attachment language was revised to
So
3
moved,
years.
Corey.
Second, Missy.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Extended year program teachers. A motion to approve the following extended year program teachers effective summer 2020 per the AEA contract. Colleen Jasprazi and Dana Gatewood.
So moved,
So moved.
Missy.
Second, Corey.
Who made the motion?
Missy.
Missy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve the following extended year program special education aides effective summer 2020? Linda Gagliani, Barb Huminski, and Jennifer Markle is a substitute aide.
So moved, Corey.
Sherry second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Under policies, PSBA policies, do I have a motion to approve the following adoption revisions to the PSBA TNN Volume 2 April 2020 policies? 006.1 attendance at meetings via electronic communication, 335 Family Medical Leave Act attachment, and 626 Federal Physical Compliance Policy. No revisions to attachment.
So moved, Corey.
Second, Missy.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for May 7th, 2020 at 8 a.m. Under Technology Committee, do I have a motion to approve the purchase of network switches from CDW-G at a cost of to the district of $14,296.92 after E-rate funding. The purchase is being made and applied through the E-rate 2020 to 2021 funding year.
So moved, Missy.
Second, Corey.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve Greg Wargo, Network Administrator's request to recycle and dispose of outdated items per attachment Technology A?
So moved, Corey.
Second, Emmanuel.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Under Transportation Committee, do I have a motion to authorize the administration to renegotiate the current transportation contract with GG&C Bus Company Incorporated for the 2019-2020 school year per Act 13 of 2020?
So moved,
Motion.
Corey.
Second, Missy.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Prior to the meeting, we had a brief executive discussion, executive session in regards to contracts, personnel, and a student discipline issue. Does anybody else have anything? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Corey.
Sherry
Second, Leslie.
All
Aye.
those in favor? say aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Have a good night. Sorry about
Stay
our
safe, everyone.
internet.
Thank you.
night.
Good night.